chosen one. Something shifted in the unseen realms on December 11. You felt it, didn't you? That uneasiness in your spirit. The sudden heaviness that wrapped around the air, though nothing visible seemed different. Heaven moved that day, not in chaos, but in alignment. The divine order recalibrated. And you, the one reading these words, were marked to notice it. For while the world continued sleeping in routine, Heaven whispered your name in the silence and said, "Wake up, something has changed. You have been feeling the tremors of it, not physical, but spiritual." Relationships began to feel different. The same prayers that once flowed easily now carried a weight. Dreams grew more vivid, and even the smallest signs seemed to speak louder than usual. That's because on December 11, Heaven adjusted the frequency of your assignment. The alignment that day separated those who merely professed faith from those who live it. You are part of the second group, the ones Heaven calls chosen. Listen carefully. What you are experiencing is not confusion, it is confirmation. Your spirit senses what your mind has yet to understand. God has opened a new chapter for His remnant, and you have been chosen to carry light into a realm of increasing darkness. You are not behind, you are in position. The very resistance you face is proof that you are standing at the threshold of purpose. Every chosen one goes through a season where the atmosphere shifts before the understanding catches up. You might feel isolated now, misunderstood by those who once walked beside you. But this isolation is not punishment, it's protection. Heaven often hides the chosen while transformation is still in progress. Think of how David was anointed king in secret while the world still called him shepherd. God hides greatness until the right moment of unveiling. The shift was not random. It was a signal, a trumpet blast in the spiritual realm. Some heard it through dreams, others through sudden loss, change, or awakening. But all who belonged to the remnant felt it. Heaven's calendar turned a page, and the world didn't even notice. Yet your spirit did. You have been wondering, why do I feel different? Why does the atmosphere seem charged? It is because God has begun to separate His chosen ones from the noise of the crowd. Heaven is saying, pay attention now, for what follows this shift will define your destiny. You are being invited into deeper obedience. The calling on your life cannot function on yesterday's faith. This is why old habits are breaking off. Why familiar comfort zones suddenly feel unsafe. God is demanding your full focus because the next move will require sensitivity, not strategy. The wind of the Spirit is blowing differently. Some who used to walk with you may fall away. Do not chase what heaven has released. When God shifts, attachments that are not aligned begin to shake loose. You must not resist the pruning. It is the sign that fruit is coming. You are being refined, not rejected. Remember, chosen one, every spiritual realignment is preceded by divine disturbance. The discomfort you feel is heaven making space for something greater. It is no longer about survival, it is about assignment. You have prayed for clarity, and God has answered with this. Something shifted on December 11, and it shifted for you. Lift your eyes beyond the temporary confusion. A greater clarity is being birthed inside you. You are entering a season where you will discern things before they happen, sense warfare before it manifests, and speak life into situations others have already buried. Your voice carries authority in this new atmosphere because you carry heaven's seal. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive? This is the heartbeat of this moment. God is doing something new, and He is calling you to perceive it. Do not let distractions steal this revelation. Do not scroll past this moment. Heaven has paused your timeline for a reason, to awaken the awareness that you were chosen for such a time as this. You are not late. You are right on time for what God is about to unfold. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it is construction. Something new is being built through you. Now, if this word resonates with your spirit, pause and declare it by faith. Comment 777 below as a prophetic sign that you perceive the shift. Let heaven record your response, and let earth witness your obedience. Like this message, so it reaches another chosen one who has been asking God for confirmation. Share it, because someone's destiny might be waiting for this exact word. And if you have not yet done so, subscribe not just to a channel, but to the divine frequency that heaven is tuning you into. The shift has begun. Heaven is watching who will respond. Something happened in the silence of that night, December 11. You didn't hear a sound in the natural, yet your spirit trembled as if thunder had rolled through your soul. Heaven released an alarm that flesh could not perceive. It wasn't meant for the crowd, it was meant for the called. You felt it, though you couldn't name it. You woke up restless, or maybe you couldn't sleep at all. That was not insomnia, it was the Spirit stirring you awake. Heaven was ringing a bell, and your name was written on its sound. This divine alarm is not like any other. It is not loud to the ears, but it is undeniable to the heart. It is the moment when the veil between the seen and unseen trembles, when the atmosphere whispers that time has turned. You are not crazy for feeling this way. You are sensitive to heaven's rhythm. God Himself has been tuning your inner ear to hear the frequency of divine movement. Heaven's alarm bell doesn't come with panic, it comes with purpose. It does not sound to frighten, but to focus. It calls you out of complacency, out of delay, out of spiritual sleep. For too long, you have sensed things before others, yet doubted your discernment because no one else seemed to notice. But now, heaven affirms what your spirit already knew. You were never meant to move with the crowd. You were meant to awaken before them. When heaven sounds the alarm, the first response is often confusion. You begin questioning everything: why peace feels heavy, why joy feels fragile, why familiar people seem distant. But what if those shifts are not loss, but alignment? God is rearranging your circle to match your calling. When the alarm sounds, it reveals who is still asleep and who is ready to rise. The ringing exposes not only timing but truth. Think of how Noah heard the sound of heaven long before a single drop of rain fell. People mocked him because they did not hear what he heard. But the alarm that reached his spirit prepared him for what was coming. So it is with you, chosen one. The preparation you sense is not random, it is prophetic. God is warning His messengers before the storm arrives. And when God warns, He does so out of love. The alarm is mercy disguised as urgency. It is heaven's way of saying, I trust you enough to tell you early. It's not punishment, it's privilege. You are being trained to recognize divine timing, to move when others are still waiting for proof. That is what it means to walk by faith and not by sight. The sound of this spiritual bell carries assignment. It is calling you to intercede when others are distracted, to build when others are breaking, to remain watchful when others drift away. You are not called to live like the world. You are called to listen differently, to perceive differently, to act differently. This difference is your anointing. It is what sets you apart in a time when many have fallen asleep spiritually. When heaven rings its alarm, your first impulse may be to silence it, to go back to sleep spiritually, to drown it out with comfort or routine. But this time, you must stay awake. The Spirit is revealing secrets to those who choose awareness over apathy. Those who stay alert will carry insight that others will call revelation. Those who keep watch will see doors open that others thought were sealed shut. This season is not about noise, it's about listening. The alarm has sounded, and your posture now determines your next level. Do not let fear mute your faith. What you hear in the Spirit may not make sense yet, but it will soon align with what God is about to do in the physical. Every whisper, every nudge, every divine coincidence, it's all a part of the pattern. Heaven does not repeat itself without reason. If you have been hearing or sensing the same message over and over, that is confirmation, not confusion. When God repeats, He is emphasizing destiny. The alarm keeps sounding until obedience answers. You have been marked as a listener, a forerunner, a spiritual watchman on the wall. Heaven's frequency is not complicated, it's consistent. It comes through dreams, scripture, sudden impressions, even through silence. You have to lean in to catch it, for the Spirit is saying, do not miss this window. The alarm that sounded on December 11 was not a warning of destruction, it was an invitation into preparation. The King is aligning His remnant for movement, and you are one of them. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 6, let us not sleep, as others do, but let us watch and be sober. These words are not ancient history, they are living instruction. They are heaven's direct command to those who hear the alarm today. To watch and be sober means to live alert, to guard your peace, and to see with spiritual eyes what others overlook. You are being entrusted with divine awareness. Do not treat it lightly. When you feel the atmosphere change, speak life. When you sense darkness rising, stand firm. When you perceive God shifting people or opportunities around you, trust His timing. The alarm is not over, it's only the beginning of awakening. There are moments when heaven does not thunder, it whispers. The night after the shift, as the world slept, the whisper came for you. It wasn't loud, but it pierced through the layers of doubt and exhaustion. It called your name, not your title, not your label, but your essence. God didn't shout because He knew you'd hear the quiet. You, chosen one, have ears that are tuned to divine frequency. The whisper is how He summons those who already belong to Him. This was no ordinary night. The Spirit hovered close, and in that stillness, heaven's message arrived, I have need of you. That phrase has echoed in your chest ever since, though you may not have understood why. The silent summons is God's way of awakening the warrior without alerting the enemy. He didn't want to expose your assignment to the noise of the world. He wanted to ignite it in the privacy of your spirit. You might have felt a sudden pull to pray, or an unexplainable heaviness that made you look toward the sky and ask, Lord, what are you saying? That moment was not random, it was appointment. God was marking your spirit for a mission that only you could carry. Every chosen one receives this kind of midnight call, a divine interruption that separates destiny from distraction. You were not overlooked, you were handpicked. The whisper came because heaven trusts you to hear it. Think about Samuel, how the boy heard his name called in the dark and rose each time to say, "Here I am." That readiness is what God saw in you. Others may crave the spotlight, but you have learned to cherish the secret place. That is why He speaks to you there. When God whispers, He doesn't use full sentences. Sometimes it's a single word: go, wait, listen. These are not suggestions, they are seeds. Every whispered word is a seed of destiny that grows only when you obey. This is why you felt restless lately, because heaven has planted something in your heart. And silence is no longer comfortable. Growth is demanding your response. Don't be discouraged if others can't hear what you do. The silent summons is personal. It's meant to draw you away from noise, not into argument. You are not crazy for sensing divine weight in ordinary moments. The whisper of God is not entertainment. It is instruction. It doesn't ask you to impress, only to align. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. These words are not poetry. They are divine evidence. God has always known your voice, your capacity, your fight. That's why He's calling you now, not because you're perfect, but because you're prepared. Do not underestimate the power of that whisper. It will guide you more than the loudest prophecy. It will lead you to divine encounters, new assignments, and unexpected breakthroughs. God often starts the biggest movements in the quietest hearts. The silent summons also tests obedience. Will you move when no one claps? Will you pray when no one notices? Will you stand when no one stands with you? That's where true authority is born. Heaven is not looking for celebrities, it's looking for servants. Those who respond to the whisper will one day command storms to cease, not because of their volume, but because of their alignment. You've asked God to use you, and now He is answering, but the answer doesn't always look like applause. Sometimes it looks like solitude, sacrifice, and secret stretching. Yet every moment of obedience in the quiet becomes a declaration in the spirit realm: I hear you, Lord. Do not wait for confirmation from people who were never present in your calling. The voice that summoned you will sustain you. Every chosen one goes through a phase where God withdraws human affirmation to deepen divine dependence. It is painful, yes, but it is holy. You are being trained to hear heaven clearly, even when earth is silent. In this moment, heaven leans close and whispers again, I still need you to listen. Not tomorrow, not next season, now. Because this hour is critical. What God builds next requires listeners, not talkers, responders, not reactors. You are among those who will change atmospheres just by showing up in obedience. If this message burns within you, if your spirit has been stirred by that unseen whisper, respond now in faith. Comment, speak, Lord, below. Let those two words become your declaration that you are done running, done doubting, done delaying. When you type them, you are not just engaging with text, you are acknowledging heaven's call over your life. You are saying, I am listening, I am available. This response may seem small, but in the spiritual realm, it's a roar. The whisper of God always waits for the echo of your surrender. Once you respond, you'll notice peace settling over you. Not because the situation has changed, but because you finally aligned with His timing. The whisper is sacred. It's the sound of destiny being born in silence. Protect it, cherish it, and obey it. For soon, the whisper will become a command, and the command will become movement. Heaven is preparing to speak louder through the ones who first learned to listen. The shift that began on December 11 drew a line that cannot be ignored. It was invisible to human eyes, yet unmistakable to the spirit. Something in the atmosphere separated light from compromise, conviction from comfort, and authenticity from imitation. The great separation has begun not to punish, but to purify. Heaven is dividing those who are merely aware of God from those who are truly aligned with Him. You may have noticed this separation in your own life. People you once felt close to now seem distant. Conversations that once flowed easily suddenly feel empty. Activities that used to fill your time now feel meaningless. That is not coincidence, it is consequence. When heaven shifts the season, anything not rooted in purpose begins to fall away. The Spirit of God is distinguishing the committed from the casual, the devoted from the distracted. When the great separation happens, it does not announce itself with thunder. It happens quietly, subtly, like a shift in the wind. God removes the unnecessary before He releases the extraordinary. Many confuse this pruning for punishment, but pruning is the evidence that growth is coming. If heaven is cutting something away, it's because your future cannot afford its weight. The line has been drawn not to divide in hatred, but to distinguish in holiness. The call now is to choose. Will you remain in the comfort of the familiar, or will you cross into the refinement of the chosen? This moment requires courage. You must be willing to let go of what no longer carries grace. Every time God separates, He sanctifies. Every time He removes, He replaces with better, with purer, with eternal things. You have likely felt misunderstood lately. People may accuse you of changing, and in truth, you have. That is what happens when heaven redefines your purpose. The version of you that fit into their comfort zone no longer exists. And that's fine, because you were not made to blend in, you were made to become. The oil on your life demands separation. Do not despise this refining. The shaking around you is not the enemy, it is the evidence that God is preparing something new. In seasons of separation, heaven does its deepest work. You are being stripped of distractions, habits, and relationships that would dilute your assignment. This is not rejection, it is redirection. God is not taking people from you, He is taking you from people who cannot go where you are going. Remember, even Jesus experienced the great separation. Crowds followed Him for miracles, but few stayed for the message. At every major moment in His ministry, the multitude decreased. Purpose always narrows your circle. As you step deeper into your divine calling, you will find yourself walking with fewer, but stronger, companions. That is divine design, as was spoken in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 18. Then shall you return, and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth Him not. The verse doesn't merely describe an event, it describes this very hour. The world is being sifted, and the difference between the devoted and the distracted is becoming unmistakable. Heaven is watching who will stay faithful when convenience disappears. The Spirit is not calling you to isolation, but to consecration. There is a difference. Isolation happens when you withdraw out of pain. Consecration happens when you withdraw out of purpose. One breaks you, the other builds you. God is not cutting you off, He is setting you apart. The chosen cannot carry the same conversations, desires, or priorities as the crowd. Your identity demands distinction. So, when the separation feels lonely, remember, heaven is near. God often removes human noise so you can hear divine instruction. What looks like silence is strategy. What feels like distance is design. You are not abandoned. You are being arranged. Every piece of your life is being aligned to match heaven's pattern. Soon, the reason for this separation will become clear. You will look back and thank God for every closed door, every faded friendship, every unanswered prayer. For those were not losses, they were lessons. The line heaven drew was not to divide your life, but to define it. You are crossing over into clarity, purity, and power. After the separation comes the stirring, those unexplainable moments when reality feels thin and heaven feels near. Since the night of December 11, strange things have surrounded you, dreams that seem like messages, emotions that rise from nowhere, small coincidences that feel too precise to be random. These are not accidents, they are signs in the shadows, proof that heaven is moving in ways the world cannot comprehend. The Spirit has been speaking through patterns, through the shift in people's hearts, through delays that once frustrated you, through sudden bursts of revelation that make you stop in awe. Every chosen one eventually learns that God often hides His loudest voice in quiet things, like how the moon reflects sunlight yet glows in the darkness. The Father uses shadows to prove that even in obscurity, light still reigns. Perhaps lately you've noticed flickers of divine fingerprints across ordinary life. You think of someone and they call you. You dream of water, and the next day you feel emotional cleansing. You see repeating numbers, feathers, coins, or rays of light cutting through clouds. These are not meaningless patterns, they are whispers of a greater order. Heaven communicates through subtle beauty. The same God who spoke to Moses through a burning bush now speaks to you through symbols that pierce your awareness. The chosen learn to read these signs the way sailors read stars. When the waves grow violent, they lift their eyes to the constellations for direction. Likewise, in this season of shifting winds, you must lift your eyes to discern what God is revealing in the patterns of your life. Don't dismiss the strange or the small. A conversation, a song, a delay, all can be divine code if your spirit stays awake. We are reminded through the writings of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17, "For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light." Every mystery has its appointed unveiling. You are standing in the threshold of revelation, where what was once obscure will soon make sense. Heaven never hides truth to confuse you, it conceals it to mature you. Sometimes the signs you receive are not comforting but confronting. Maybe your phone suddenly goes silent, your plans collapse, your peace gets disrupted. These are still signs, heaven's way of pulling you out of places that can no longer contain your calling. You may feel like a tree in the middle of a storm. But remember, wind never uproots what's deeply planted. The shaking is not meant to destroy you, but to deepen your roots in faith. Even pain can be a prophetic sign. The ache in your chest, the longing in your prayers, those are signals that heaven is birthing something through you. Just as a seed must split before it sprouts, your heart must break before your next season blooms. God never wastes a wound. He transforms it into wisdom. The scars you carry will one day become someone else's roadmap out of darkness. Beloved, there's a reason you are seeing more, feeling more, discerning more. The veil is thinning because heaven is trusting you with vision. The shift of December 11 didn't just change your atmosphere, it changed your sight. You are being trained to perceive with prophetic clarity. Every tear you've cried, every silence you've endured, every closed door, all of it was heaven sharpening your spiritual perception. So do not fear the strange. Welcome it. Let every sign remind you that heaven is not far. Even in the shadows, the presence of God glows like a lantern, guiding you toward promise. He is weaving meaning into every detail of your journey, like an artist layering paint until the picture finally emerges. What feels abstract now will soon reveal its masterpiece. And if this message finds your heart trembling with recognition, pause for a moment. Breathe. Let gratitude rise. Because the same God who paints galaxies has chosen to send you personal reminders of His care. That realization alone should fill your spirit with awe. If these words touch you deeply, if they help you see the hand of God where confusion once lived, share this light. Pass it on the way a traveler passes a torch in the dark, so another wanderer might find their path. When you like or share this message, you're not boosting an algorithm, you're extending an invitation for another heart to awaken. And if you feel led to help sustain this flow of divine storytelling through prayer, through a simple act of generosity, through a quiet donation, know that it is never about money. It's about mission. Every seed you sow keeps the flame alive so that more chosen ones can hear what heaven is saying. Your kindness becomes fuel for light. Subscribe, not out of habit, but as a declaration I choose to stay awake. Let your support, in whatever form it takes, be your way of saying, I believe this message matters, because it does. Someone out there is waiting for confirmation that God still speaks, and through your act of sharing, you might become their proof, even in the shadows. The signs remain. You are not wandering, you are being guided. Keep watching, keep perceiving, for soon every symbol will make sense, and every shadow will reveal the shape of glory behind it. Every movement of heaven carries rhythm and reason. Since the night of December 11, that rhythm has been unfolding like a hidden melody beneath your days. You have seen it in repeated patterns, in numbers that catch your eye, in dreams that echo symbols you can't forget. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. God is sending you divine codes, prophetic markers designed to guide your obedience and sharpen your attention. When you walk with God, nothing is random. Every repeated number, every unusual timing, every déjà vu moment is a language of heaven. The Spirit does not waste repetition, He uses it to anchor revelation. Maybe you've noticed the same hour flashing on the clock, the same verse appearing again and again, or the same phrase resurfacing in your prayers. Each one is a spiritual breadcrumb, leading you toward understanding. Prophetic patterns are how heaven trains perception. The more you notice, the more you'll receive. The language of God isn't always words, it's alignment. He teaches the chosen to read life the way prophets read visions, not with suspicion, but with sensitivity. The Father hides messages inside motion so that only those awake in spirit can decode them. This is why some people around you feel lost, even though they see the same signs. The difference is perception. The crowd sees coincidence, the chosen see confirmation. And you, yes, you are being called to master this awareness. You are learning to recognize when heaven winks through ordinary details. When eternity brushes past the edges of time, the voice of heaven still speaks through subtlety. Sometimes it's a door that won't open because you're not meant to walk through it. Sometimes it's a delay that saves you from danger. Other times it's a stranger's kindness at the exact moment you were about to give up. These patterns are not accidental. They are prophetic fingerprints, proof that the unseen hand of God is arranging your steps. Heaven speaks clearly through the words of Amos. Chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. Revelation always precedes manifestation. God does not surprise his chosen, he prepares them. That's why these patterns have intensified. The Spirit is alerting you before movement occurs. Do not dismiss this as superstition. Patterns are heaven's pedagogy. Numbers like repeating 7s or 8s are not magic, they are messages. They symbolize completion, new beginnings, divine cycles of rest and rebirth. God speaks through meaning, not manipulation. The point is not to chase signs, but to listen to what the signs point toward: obedience. In this season, heaven is training your discernment the way a blacksmith tempers steel with heat and repetition. You are being shaped to recognize God's rhythm in everything, in the timing of opportunities, in the rise and fall of emotions, even in silence. The more you pay attention, the more fluent you become in the language of the Spirit. Yet, prophetic sensitivity is both gift and burden. Once your eyes are opened, you can no longer ignore what others overlook. You will see deception behind smiles, divine order behind chaos, and sacred timing behind interruption. This can feel heavy, but remember, it's evidence of trust. Heaven does not show secrets to the careless. If you are seeing more, it's because you've proven faithful with little. The numbers, dreams, and signs are heaven's way of whispering. Stay aligned. They are checkpoints on the journey to destiny. When confusion tries to cloud your path, God drops these patterns as reminders that you are still in his plan. Every chosen one has a number that follows them, a rhythm that mirrors their calling. For some, it's a date that repeats. For others, a sequence that appears just before breakthrough. Do not fear this language, embrace it. Let it draw you closer to prayer, not deeper into anxiety. The purpose of revelation is relationship. Right now, heaven is marking you again. The Spirit says, pay attention to the repetition. The next time a pattern catches your eye, pause and ask, Lord, what are you telling me? The question itself becomes a key that unlocks direction. And when you sense confirmation in your heart as you read these words, let faith answer in a small prophetic act. Type 888 below. That number symbolizes resurrection, new beginning, and divine abundance. It declares that you recognize heaven's rhythm and align with it. You are not typing digits, you are releasing agreement. It is your way of saying, I hear, I see, I obey. Each keystroke becomes like a stone on an altar, a public acknowledgement of private revelation. Heaven honors that response. Angels record obedience as worship, and the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Do not be afraid of divine repetition. Patterns are heaven's proof that God is closer than breath. Each one is an echo of purpose, a whisper of destiny calling your name. Keep watching, keep decoding. The language of heaven is unfolding through your days. And soon, what looks mysterious will make perfect sense. To be awake in the Spirit is both gift and weight. Since the shift of December 11, you felt the tension of this truth more deeply than ever. Awareness is costly. It asks you to see what others ignore and to stand where others sit. When your eyes open to the reality of God's movement, you can no longer live casually. The weight of awakening settles on your shoulders like sacred fire, beautiful, but heavy. You've probably noticed it. The nights seem longer. The prayers feel deeper. There's a stirring that won't let you rest. Even when you're tired, it's not anxiety, it's assignment. God is stretching your spirit, pulling you into greater capacity. You are being trained, not punished. The difference between pressure and purpose lies in perspective. What feels like crushing is often the molding of calling. Awakening always comes with isolation. When you wake up in a room full of sleepers, you look strange. You move differently. You question what others accept. Yet that separation is part of the process. You are learning to depend on the voice of God, not the volume of the crowd. When the noise fades, obedience becomes clearer. The chosen ones throughout Scripture endured this same refining. Elijah stood alone on Mount Carmel. Esther faced her moment of destiny in silence. Paul wrote letters from prison that would one day shape nations. Each carried the weight of awareness, the burden of knowing that heaven had called them to something that could not be shared with everyone. You, too, carry that mark. The Spirit is teaching you endurance. He's allowing opposition so that your spirit grows strong enough to handle the future glory. Spiritual muscles are not built through ease, but through resistance. Every misunderstanding, every rejection, every closed door, they are divine tools shaping resilience within you. You are learning to stand in storms without losing your song. We are reminded through the words of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48, "To whom much is given, much will be required." The verse is not a warning, it's an affirmation. God would not demand much from you unless He had placed much within you. The very weight you carry is evidence of the worth you possess. Heaven invests heavily in those who will carry light into darkness. Sometimes awakening feels like loss. Old pleasures lose their taste. Old conversations feel shallow. You start yearning for things you can't yet describe: depth, clarity, holiness. It's not that you've become distant, it's that your spirit now craves a higher atmosphere. The familiar no longer fits because your destiny has outgrown your surroundings. Don't resist the stretching. God is enlarging your heart for greater capacity. The chosen must be able to bear both glory and grief. You will celebrate miracles one day and wrestle with warfare the next. Yet through it all, your foundation remains faith. That is why He is fortifying your spirit now. The awakening is not a temporary season, it's a transformation of identity. There will be days when you want to go back to normal. But once your eyes have seen, you cannot unsee. Once your ears have heard, you cannot unhear. The awakened cannot pretend to be asleep. You are now responsible for revelation. That is why spiritual maturity requires discipline, consistent prayer, worship, stillness, and surrender. These are not routines, they are reinforcements for your calling. In this hour, God is revealing how awakening and weight coexist. The more He shows you, the more he asks of you. Yet, within that asking lies empowerment. You are not carrying this alone. The same Spirit that awakened you is the same Spirit sustaining you. He doesn't call you to awareness without also providing strength for obedience. Think of it like the dawn. The first light of morning can be harsh to eyes long accustomed to dark, but give it time, and the light that once blinded begins to guide. Awakening may sting at first, but soon you'll see with clarity what others can't yet perceive. You'll recognize danger before it approaches, blessings before they bloom, and purpose where others only see pain. God is not cruel for letting you feel the weight. He is preparing you to carry nations in prayer, to discern atmospheres, to intercede for families, communities, and generations. You have been called not only to believe, but to bear. The chosen are pillars, not ornaments. The world leans on those who have learned how to stand when the nights feel endless and the silence heavy. Remember this, even Jesus groaned beneath his assignment, yet he never turned away. The heaviness you feel is holy. It's proof that heaven still trusts you. The fact that you sense it means you are still sensitive to his presence. So, carry the weight with humility. Let every sigh become worship. Let every ache become prayer. For soon, what feels like burden will reveal itself as blessing. The awakened are weary. Yes, but they are also watchful, wise, and weaponized by grace. You are among them. Hold steady under the weight of awakening. It is not crushing you, it is crowning you. There is something about light that makes darkness nervous. Since the shift of December 11, you may have noticed an invisible resistance around you, an increase in misunderstandings, distractions, sudden fatigue, or unexpected conflict. That is not coincidence, it is collision. Your light has intensified, and the darkness is reacting. Every time you grow in awareness, hell grows in agitation. Your presence alone disturbs what once hid comfortably in shadow. The chosen carry an illumination that the enemy cannot tolerate. It's not arrogance, it's radiance. Wherever you go, spiritual climates respond to the power you carry. That's why certain rooms suddenly feel heavy when you walk in. It's why some people withdraw from you without clear reason. They are not rejecting you, they are reacting to what you represent. You don't just enter places, you expose them. Light and darkness cannot coexist peacefully. The moment light appears, darkness begins to flee. Yet before it disappears, it fights. That resistance is proof of your anointing. You've been wondering why warfare has intensified, why confusion, temptation, and pressure seem to strike all at once. It's because your spirit is stepping into new authority. Every promotion in the spirit realm provokes opposition, but opposition is not defeat, it's confirmation. Darkness studies your patterns. It watches how you respond when attacked, how quickly you lose focus, how easily discouragement settles in. But what the enemy doesn't understand is that pressure only strengthens those who carry divine light. Every attempt to break you only burns you brighter. Your glow comes not from ease, but from endurance. The light you carry is not mere positivity or moral effort, it is the indwelling presence of God. When you worship, when you forgive, when you choose faith over fear, that light expands. Hell cannot imitate it because it flows from purity. That's why attacks often target your character, not your comfort. The goal is to dim your integrity so your influence loses brilliance. Yet even when you stumble, grace restores the flame. We see this truth reflected in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Those words were not poetic metaphor, they were prophecy. Every chosen one is a living echo of that verse. You were not placed on earth to blend in, but to blaze through the atmosphere. Your existence disrupts every plan of despair. Notice how darkness operates. It hides, it whispers, it imitates. It cannot create, it only corrupts. It offers shortcuts that seem easier than truth, shadows that look like shelter. But the awakened spirit sees through these illusions. You've learned that not every open door is divine, and not every silence means absence. Discernment becomes your shield. When you refuse to be deceived, darkness loses its grip. You may feel weary, as if the battle never ends. The truth is, it won't, because light is not a momentary spark. It's a continual stance. Every morning you choose hope. Every time you pray when tired, every moment you respond with love instead of anger. You're declaring war without words. Your faith is not passive, it is radiant defiance. Sometimes that light will make you lonely. It's difficult when those you love still prefer the shadows. You try to explain what you see, but they cannot understand yet. Do not dim yourself to make them comfortable. God will draw them in His time. Your role is not to force revelation, but to embody it. Your peace becomes their invitation. Even creation responds to the light within the chosen. Atmospheres shift around you. Rooms grow quieter. Hearts soften. Tension dissolves because divine presence has entered. That's why spiritual warfare follows you. Hell's attention is the tax of divine assignment. You wouldn't be targeted if you weren't threatening to darkness. Yet you are not fighting alone. Every time you pray, angels reinforce your territory. Every time you speak truth, chains loosen in unseen realms. You are part of heaven's invasion, force one torch among many, pushing back the night. What you feel as pressure is actually participation in victory already decided. Still, light must be tended. You must guard your heart, your focus, your purity. Keep your oil full, the oil of prayer, of humility, of gratitude. Burn steadily, not sporadically. The enemy loves distraction more than destruction, because a dimmed flame is easier to ignore. Protect your consistency like a lamp in the wind. Remember this, the brightness of your light is not measured by applause, but by endurance. Anyone can shine in safety, few shine under fire. But you, chosen one, are different. You were built to glow in stormy weather. The darkness may press close, but it cannot conquer what carries divine flame. You don't need to prove your light, you just need to keep it lit. Every act of kindness, every moment of prayer, every word spoken in truth adds fuel to your glow. The world is darker than it knows, but heaven has stationed you as proof that light still wins. The darkness is trembling. Keep shining. The shift that began on December 11 was not only meant to awaken you, it was meant to realign you. Many sensed the movement of heaven, but didn't realize what it demanded next. Awareness without adjustment leads to stagnation. God didn't open your eyes just so you could see. He opened them so you could move differently. The call now is not merely to feel the change, but to respond to it. Realignment is heaven's way of restoring order where distraction has crept in. It is the spiritual equivalent of a compass being reset after drifting off course. Over time, small compromises and subtle comforts can pull your spirit out of alignment, even while your words still sound faithful. But the Spirit is calling His chosen ones back to precision, back to the center of His will, not the edges of convenience. This is not about perfection, it's about posture. God is not demanding flawlessness but focus. He wants you steady, not scattered. For too long, your energy has been divided between divine purpose and human approval. That tug of war is over. You are being summoned into a season of clarity, where what no longer fits will fall away, and what must remain will anchor deeper. The Spirit declares in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 12, "Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and mourning." This is not condemnation, it's invitation. God is not pushing you away, He's pulling you closer. The realignment begins not with punishment, but with passion. Not with fear, but with love. To return is to remember where your strength truly comes from. This hour demands intentional surrender. The Spirit is whispering, lay down what's heavy, so I can lift what's holy. You can't carry both obedience and old attachments at the same time. Some things that once felt necessary have now become noise. God is trimming your path, not to punish you, but to clear the way for acceleration. Every correction from heaven is preparation for movement. Think of an instrument slightly out of tune. Even a small distortion can ruin the entire melody. In the same way, a little compromise can throw off divine harmony. But when the musician retunes the strings, the same instrument produces beauty again. God is tuning your life right now, your emotions, your habits, your voice, so that your sound aligns with His song. Realignment is also about repentance, but not in the sense of shame. It's the act of choosing direction over distraction. The word repent literally means to turn. You are turning away from what drains and back toward what defines. Heaven celebrates that turn every time it happens. Don't be surprised if this realignment makes you uncomfortable. Growth often begins with grief, the grief of letting go of who you were, so you can become who you're called to be. But remember, surrender never leads to loss. It always leads to liberation. In this moment, heaven is drawing a clear line. Either you stay entangled in the patterns that kept you stuck, or you step into the flow of divine order. This is not a threat, it's an invitation. The door of mercy is still open, and grace is waiting on the other side. God is not angry, He's calling you home. And if, as you read these words, something in your spirit stirs a recognition that you have drifted slightly, that your focus has blurred, then this is your moment to respond, not with guilt, but with gratitude, because awareness is proof that the Spirit is still near. Right now, type "I return" below. Those two words are not mere text, they are declaration. They are a key that unlocks restoration. When you write them, you are telling heaven, I'm done wandering. I choose alignment over comfort. I choose obedience over distraction. Let it be your spiritual marker, the sign that your compass is set again toward divine direction. When you respond in faith, something shifts immediately. The inner noise quiets. The guilt lifts. The fog clears. God does not delay restoration. He delights in it. The moment you realign, heaven rejoices, and clarity begins to flow like living water through your mind and heart. So return not halfway, but wholly. Let your heart come home to its rightful rhythm. Every step you take toward alignment multiplies peace, strength, and discernment. The season ahead demands precision, and you are being equipped to walk in it. The shift was your awakening. The warfare revealed your light. But this realignment is your recalibration. From this point on, walk steady, move intentionally, stay tuned to the frequency of heaven. For once the compass is corrected, even storms cannot make you lost again. Every chosen one will eventually stand at the crossroads of favor and fire. The shift of December 11 did not only awaken and realign you, it positioned you for the paradox of divine calling, the crown and the cross. You have been anointed. Yes, but that anointing also attracts adversity. The same oil that marks you for glory marks you for warfare. Favor and suffering are twin threads woven into the same destiny. At first, this feels unfair. You obey. You pray. You walk in light and still. Storms come. People misunderstand you. Opportunities close. Exhaustion whispers that it's all too much. Yet, beneath the chaos, heaven is working with precision. God is not punishing you, He is polishing you. The heat of your current trial is refining the gold within your spirit. You are being prepared to wear both the weight of influence and the humility of surrender. Every crown in the kingdom is forged in fire. The jewels of wisdom are shaped through pressure. The chosen cannot skip the crucible. The oil that flows from your life will cost you something, but it will be worth it. The world craves comfort. Heaven cultivates character. The crown represents your promise, but the cross represents your process. Think of a seed buried in soil. The darkness around it is not death, it's development. It breaks open before it blossoms. In the same way, God allows your plans to break so your purpose can breathe. That heartbreak, that rejection, that unanswered prayer, each one was a shovel of holy soil covering something sacred in you. The process may be painful, but it is not pointless. The apostle reminds us in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 12, "If we suffer, we shall also reign with him." That verse is not a burden, it's a blueprint. The path to reigning always passes through refining. The suffering of this season is the sculptor shaping you into a vessel that can hold greater glory without cracking. You've probably noticed how quickly your faith is tested after every promise. That's not coincidence, it's confirmation. God never promotes without proving. He tests not to expose weakness, but to strengthen trust. What you're enduring right now is heaven's way of stretching your capacity so your next season doesn't crush you. Pain is not the opposite of favor, it is the evidence of it. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on the unassigned. The warfare intensifies because your next breakthrough carries generational impact. You are not simply enduring trials, you are modeling endurance. Others are watching how you carry your cross, and your faith is quietly teaching them courage. Remember this, the cross is not the end, it's the elevator. It lifts those willing to surrender. The moments that feel like burial are actually preparation for resurrection. When you finally rise, you'll carry a depth of compassion, discernment, and peace that can't be taught, only forged. Beloved, if these words are finding you in a season of tears, breathe. Heaven counts every one. No wound is wasted. No struggle unseen. Even in exhaustion, the Spirit is near mending, molding, multiplying grace. God has not forgotten you. He's simply finishing the details of your crown while you endure the weight of your cross. You may not see it now, but your pain is producing power. Every time you refuse to give up, light breaks further into the darkness. Every whispered prayer adds another gem to your future crown. Heaven is recording the faith you show in secret. The reward may not appear instantly, but it is inevitable. And when that moment comes, when breakthrough finally arrives, you'll realize why you had to walk this path. The glory will not make you proud, it will make you gentle. Those who have bled for their blessing know how to handle it with grace. You will no longer chase validation, because your scars will remind you who sustained you. If this message touches the ache you've been carrying, if it helps you see your suffering through new light, then let gratitude move through you. Sometimes the best way to heal is to help the light travel further. Share this message so another weary heart might understand that their pain, too, is holy. When you like or share, you're not amplifying a voice, you're extending hope. Someone scrolling through silence might find their strength again through your small act of faith. And if you feel led, you can support the flame that keeps these words flowing through prayer, through a quiet donation, through kindness that keeps the oil burning. Every act of generosity is like water poured on weary soil. It helps new life rise. Every seed you sow is another torch lit in the dark. What you give, in whatever way you can, becomes the echo of yes that heaven multiplies. Subscribe, not as a routine, but as a sign that you will continue walking crown or cross, joy or sorrow, still faithful, still shining. Let this moment be your reminder that even in breaking, you are being built. For the same God who allowed the cross is the God who placed the crown, and both in his hands are love. There are moments in life when everything that once made sense suddenly dissolves, and you are left standing before the unseen. That is where many of the chosen find themselves after the shift of December 11, caught between what was and what will be, between instruction and revelation. This is the realm of the hidden blueprint. Heaven's plans are never random, they are precise, intricate, and layered beyond human understanding. But they are often concealed until obedience unlocks them. When you walk with God, He rarely gives you the full map. He gives you coordinates, one step, one instruction, one act of faith at a time. You see only fragments, yet those fragments are pieces of something magnificent. The hidden blueprint is not meant to frustrate you, it is meant to form you. God conceals revelation not to deny you, but to deepen you. He hides mysteries in plain sight so that only the hungry will search, and only the faithful will find. You may feel like you've been walking through fog, unsure of where God is leading, but understand this uncertainty is often the cover cloth of divine design. When the master builder drafts his plans, he shields them from premature exposure. The silence, the delays, the detours, they are part of the architecture of destiny. Heaven builds slowly, because what's eternal must be structured with precision. Sometimes, the hidden blueprint shows itself through fragments, dreams that repeat, confirmations that align, scriptures that seem to follow you. It's as if God drops divine breadcrumbs along your path, teaching you how to follow his scent through the wilderness. The process demands patience. Those who crave immediate clarity will always misread the divine timeline. But those who wait, those who trust the architect, will see how every thread of confusion was actually woven into harmony. Think of Joseph in the pit, or Moses in the desert. Both carried blueprints they didn't understand. Both felt forgotten while God was designing fulfillment. The blueprint for greatness is almost always drafted in seasons of obscurity. When nothing seems to move, heaven is moving everything beneath the surface. There's a reason God doesn't reveal the full plan. Revelation carries responsibility. If you saw the weight of the assignment too soon, you might run from it. But when God unveils it piece by piece, he grows your strength in proportion to your calling. You learn to depend not on understanding, but on trust. Faith becomes the language by which you build what you cannot yet see. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 2, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. The hidden blueprint is God's invitation for you to rise to royal curiosity, to seek, to question, to listen until revelation unfolds. Those who chase surface blessings will never know the joy of discovering God's depth. The chosen are called to dig. You may be tempted to compare your pace with others, but blueprints differ according to design. A cottage can be built in months, a cathedral takes decades. The complexity of your construction reveals the scale of your calling. So don't despise slow progress. It's evidence of detailed craftsmanship. God is not behind schedule. He's ensuring that what he builds through you can weather generations. The hidden blueprint also explains your peculiar journey. Why certain doors shut while others opened. Why some people left suddenly. Why you felt urged to move when everything told you to stay. These are not random shifts, they are recalibrations aligned with divine measurements. Every no was a redirection toward a stronger yes. Every delay was scaffolding for something higher. You may not understand the architecture yet, but soon you will stand in the structure of what your obedience built. Every prayer, every act of faith, every quiet surrender. These are bricks in the unseen foundation. The blueprint may be hidden, but the builder is near. You are not constructing blindly. You are co-laboring with the Creator of all things. So, when confusion whispers, "You're lost," remember, you're not lost, you're layered. God is building multiple levels of purpose at once, preparing your heart while positioning your steps. What feels like stillness is strategic pause. What looks like delay is divine detail. Heaven never rushes a masterpiece. In time, the curtains will draw back, and you'll see the pattern that once puzzled you. You'll understand why certain prayers were answered with silence and why others exploded with sudden miracles. You'll see how every lonely night, every uncelebrated act of faith, became essential lines in heaven's design. For now, your task is simple. Stay close to the architect. Let trust replace the need to know. The hidden blueprint will reveal itself in perfect timing. When it does, you'll realize that nothing was wasted, not a tear, not a trial, not a single waiting day. Heaven never hides without the intention to reveal. The greatest battles are never fought with swords, they are fought in the mind. Since the spiritual shift of December 11, the war around you has grown louder, but the war within you has grown subtler. The enemy has changed tactics. He is no longer only attacking through circumstances, but through thought patterns, whispers, doubts. distractions, and invisible weariness that aim to drain your spiritual clarity. The battlefield of the chosen is the mind. It is where destiny is either defended or destroyed. Long before the enemy attacks your finances, your relationships, or your peace, he targets your perspective. He knows that if he can control your thoughts, he can distort your faith. That is why confusion has tried to cling to you. That's why your focus has felt fragile. You are not losing your mind, you are under mental warfare. Every thought you entertain is a seed. Some grow into gardens of peace, others into forests of fear. The enemy plants weeds disguised as reason, hoping you'll water them with attention. That's why you've felt those cycles of overthinking, that endless loop of what if and maybe not. But heaven is saying, enough. You cannot carry revelation in a mind cluttered by lies. God is calling you to reclaim your inner landscape, to uproot every thought that contradicts His truth. This warfare is not random, it is strategic. The closer you move toward your assignment, the louder the mental noise becomes. The enemy fears clarity because clarity births obedience. He uses distraction as a weapon of delay. If he can't stop your faith, he'll scatter your focus. But today, heaven is silencing that storm. You are being equipped with a renewed mind, one that thinks truth, breathes peace, and perceives purpose. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, speak directly to this. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. This verse is not simply advice, it's a strategy of survival. Transformation begins where imitation ends. You can't carry a kingdom mindset while feeding on worldly patterns. Your thoughts must align with heaven's rhythm, not earth's anxiety. A renewed mind is a fortress of peace. It doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means fear no longer leads the conversation. It means you recognize negative thoughts and choose truth instead of trauma. You begin to think like someone who knows who they are, not like someone trying to prove it. That is spiritual maturity, not perfection, but perception refined by faith. God is teaching you the art of mental stillness. When everything around you screams chaos, He whispers, "Be still, and know that I am God." Stillness is not idleness, it's spiritual authority. It's the quiet confidence that heaven has already written the ending while you are still walking through the middle. When your thoughts align with that truth, worry loses its voice. Guard your mind as you would guard a temple. Be careful what you let dwell there. Music, words, images, conversations, each one is either feeding your faith or fueling your fear. The chosen can no longer afford mental clutter. This is the hour to curate what enters your soul. You cannot hear divine direction in a mind full of noise. Every anxious thought is a false prophecy. It imagines a future without God. But faith speaks differently. Faith looks at the same uncertainty and declares, "He is with me." Even here, when you catch your thoughts running toward panic, pull them back toward promise. Discipline your focus until peace becomes your default language. Heaven is renewing your inner rhythm right now. You may have felt foggy or numb, but clarity is returning. The Holy Spirit is sweeping through your mental space like wind through a room that hasn't been opened in years. Light is touching the corners where lies once hid. You are remembering who you are. You are reclaiming the authority of your thoughts. And as you do, freedom begins to ripple outward. Relationships heal, confidence rises, creativity flows again. You stop reacting and start discerning. That is the fruit of a mind anchored in truth. The storm outside can rage, but your inner sea remains calm. You become untouchable. Not because the attacks stop, but because you no longer surrender your peace. Chosen one, if this message resonates deep within you, if you felt that silent battle in your thoughts, that endless wrestling with fear or confusion, then this is your prophetic act of agreement. Type 9,999 below. That number symbolizes divine completion, mental renewal, and the closing of old cycles. When you type it, you are declaring that your mind belongs to heaven, not to fear. You are affirming that every toxic thought loses its grip and every lie is replaced with truth. As you do, something shifts. The mental noise quiets. The storm recedes. A new stillness settles over your soul, and clarity begins to flow like light breaking through fog. Heaven records your declaration, and the Spirit reinforces it with peace that surpasses understanding. Your thoughts are holy ground now. Protect them. Fill them with gratitude, with scripture, with faith. Let your mind become the garden where God walks again. The battle over your mind is not your defeat, it is your deliverance in disguise. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when quiet revelation turns into visible manifestation. After the awakening, the separation, and the battle for your mind, you now stand on the threshold of what heaven calls the prophetic rising. This is not arrogance or self-exaltation, it is activation. It is when all the private obedience of past seasons begins to echo publicly. The seeds of surrender you buried in silence are breaking through the soil of time, and heaven is commanding them to rise. The prophetic rising is not about predicting the future, it's about embodying heaven's present truth. When God raises his chosen, he doesn't merely give them words, he makes them the message. You have become the evidence that faith still works, that grace still transforms, that light still wins. The very areas where you once bled are now becoming altars of authority. You may have noticed that the same battles that nearly destroyed you are the very ones God is using to define your voice. What used to wound you now gives weight to your words. The rejection that once crushed you has become your anointing for compassion. Every tear you cried in hidden places has turned into oil that glistens when you speak. Heaven wastes nothing, it recycles pain into purpose. The prophetic rising is heaven's response to surrender. You have endured pruning, endured silence, endured warfare, and now heaven is declaring, enough. The darkness that once intimidated you now trembles at your name. Not because you are powerful, but because you carry the one who is. Your authority is not borrowed, it is birthed. You are not repeating sermons, you are releasing sound. As the prophet wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This verse is not an invitation, it's a command. God is not asking if you feel ready, he is announcing that you already are. The light you carry is not dependent on your circumstances, it's dependent on your surrender. In this season, you will find your words carrying unusual weight. Conversations that once seemed ordinary will begin to shift atmospheres. People will find peace simply by being near you. This is the fruit of refinement. You no longer speak from emotion, but from revelation. You've learned to discern when to be silent and when to release a word that slices through darkness like a blade of fire. The prophetic rising is not loud, it's luminous. It's not about spectacle, it's about substance. The chosen rise not to impress, but to illuminate. You are not called to stand on stages. You are called to stand in truth. The same God who anointed prophets in palaces also anointed shepherds in fields. What matters is not the platform, but the posture of your heart. This new elevation requires balance. The light that shines through you must remain anchored in humility. Remember, the higher a tree grows, the deeper its roots must dig. Do not let influence replace intimacy. Your greatest protection in this season will be prayer, purity, and perspective. God will trust you with visibility only to the degree that you can handle vulnerability. Stay hidden in Him even as He reveals you to the world. You will also notice divine acceleration. What took years before will begin to happen suddenly. Doors that were sealed will swing open. Opportunities will find you, not because you chased them, but because destiny recognizes alignment. But with this acceleration comes accountability. The same favor that lifts you will also test your stewardship. Heaven gives increase only where there is integrity. Do not fear the magnitude of your assignment. The prophetic mantle may feel heavy, but it fits perfectly on the shoulders of surrender. You do not have to strive to prove your calling. The anointing itself will validate you. Every time you open your mouth in obedience, heaven will confirm it with signs of peace, clarity, and divine timing. What's rising now is not fame, it's function. You are being positioned as a voice of restoration in a world that's grown numb. People don't need perfection from you. They need presence. They need the sound of authenticity, the resonance of someone who has walked through fire and still carries fragrance. Not smoke. You are heaven's vessel of demonstration. The prophetic rising is not just for you, it's for everyone connected to you. Your obedience is unlocking courage in others. When you rise, they remember it's possible for them to rise too. That's why your journey matters more than you realize. The rising is here. It will not come with fanfare, but with quiet authority. You'll notice peace where panic once lived. You'll sense divine backing in every step. The light of God upon you will no longer flicker, it will burn steadily. And when you stand in this new radiance, remember the path that brought you here, the darkness that taught you to pray, the silence that taught you to listen, the warfare that taught you to endure. All of it was preparation for this unveiling. The prophetic rising has begun. The earth will soon see what heaven already declared. There is a rhythm in heaven that quickens when divine timing arrives. After seasons of waiting, pruning, and hiddenness, a moment comes when everything suddenly moves, doors unlock, opportunities converge, relationships realign. You are now stepping into that rhythm. This is the season of acceleration. What once crawled will now run. What once lingered will now launch. The spiritual momentum that began on December 11 is reaching its visible expression. Heaven's pace is increasing, and those aligned with it are being carried forward by divine velocity. Acceleration is not chaos, it is divine synchronization. It's the moment when years of unseen obedience converge into a single breakthrough. For so long, it felt like nothing was happening. You prayed, you planted, you endured, and the soil seemed silent. But what you couldn't see was that roots were deepening beneath the surface. Heaven was fortifying what would soon flourish. God was not denying you, He was developing you. And now, suddenly, the appointed time has arrived. Acceleration always feels like surprise to man, but it has been long planned in heaven. The pace shifts not because of luck or chance, but because preparation has met divine permission. The waiting room becomes a launching pad, and what was once a whisper in your spirit begins to echo in your reality. The momentum you feel right now is the breath of God propelling purpose into manifestation. Do not mistake this acceleration for ease. The same wind that lifts also tests balance. When things begin to move quickly, the temptation is to rush without listening. But heaven's acceleration does not require hurry, it requires harmony. You must move fast in obedience but slow in ego. Every step forward must be anchored in discernment, or speed will turn to stumble. You'll notice how opportunities appear as if from nowhere. A person calls, a door opens, a long-delayed answer suddenly arrives. The Spirit whispers, "Now," and the circumstances obey. It's as though everything that resisted you before is now working in your favor. That's because when heaven decrees acceleration, creation cooperates. Everything starts serving the purpose of the chosen. The voice of revelation reminds us in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, "Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut." This is the verse of the hour, the declaration over this acceleration season. Heaven is not suggesting, it is announcing. The door before you is not temporary, it's appointed. What God opens cannot be manipulated, and what He closes cannot be forced. But remember this truth, the open door also tests discipline. Acceleration exposes your foundation. If you've built on emotion, the speed will exhaust you. If you've built on obedience, the speed will empower you. That is why the long waiting season was necessary. It was the training ground for endurance. The delay was not denial. It was preparation for the weight of increase. You are entering a time where everything you've prayed for will begin to converge. Promises that once felt disconnected will start to make sense. The blueprint from the previous season will now take form in visible structure. Yet even in blessing, humility must remain your compass. The chosen move quickly, but never carelessly. Divine timing requires divine temperament. Acceleration is also about alignment. Not every opportunity that appears is meant to be pursued. Some doors are open for observation, not for entry. The Spirit will guide you, sometimes with a push, sometimes with a pause. Learn to recognize the difference. The same wind that carries you can also correct you. If you stay sensitive, you'll know when to run and when to rest. You may find yourself meeting people who feel familiar, though you've just met. Entering places that feel predestined. Receiving provision exactly when it's needed. These are signs that heaven has orchestrated convergence. The chosen never walk into acceleration unprepared. They walk into alignment already woven by God. Even so, acceleration can feel overwhelming. The speed of change might make you nostalgic for the stillness you once had. But remember, the stillness built your strength. Now the speed will reveal it. God trusts you to move at His pace. You are not being rushed, you are being released. As momentum builds, your responsibility is to stay grounded in gratitude. The higher you rise, the lower your heart must bow. Acceleration is not just about progress, it's about stewardship. Every new level of visibility must be matched by deeper levels of humility. The chosen shine brightest when they remain anchored in awe. You have waited, wondered, and sometimes wept, but heaven was writing this moment all along. The gears are turning. The doors are opening. The pieces are connecting. The wind that once felt still is now filling your sails. You are not drifting, you are being directed. This is your acceleration season. The rhythm of heaven has found you. Stay steady. Stay sensitive. For what begins swiftly under divine order will endure eternally under divine purpose. The wind of acceleration has begun to stir across the earth. And as it moves, something extraordinary is happening. The chosen are being drawn together. The scattered embers of faith are converging into a single flame. This is the great gathering. Heaven is orchestrating a reunion of the remnant. Those who refused to bow to confusion, those who endured the pruning of isolation and still kept their hearts burning. The time for lone battles is ending. The time for unity in power has come. This gathering is not about crowds, it is about convergence. God is connecting hearts, not headlines. You may notice yourself drawn to people whose spirit feels familiar. Even if you've never met, there's a silent recognition when kindred flames meet the warmth of shared purpose. The pulse of divine assignment. Each of you carries a piece of heaven's design, and only together does the full picture form. The great gathering is like the weaving of a tapestry. Each thread may seem insignificant on its own, but when the weaver draws them together, they create a pattern of unimaginable beauty. You, beloved, are one of those threads. Your journey, your scars, your victories, they all contribute color to the masterpiece God is revealing to the world. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20, "Where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am in their midst." That is not a poetic sentiment, it is a spiritual law. When the chosen gather, heaven manifests, presence multiplies, strength amplifies, darkness retreats. This is why the enemy worked so hard to isolate you, because he fears what happens when light stands next to light. You have walked through lonely seasons not to be forgotten, but to be forged. The ones who will stand beside you now are not casual companions, they are covenant carriers. Heaven is hand-picking allies for your next assignment, people who speak the same language of faith, who will not compete with your calling, but complete it. Some you will meet in person, others you will connect with across oceans. Bound by purpose more than proximity. The great gathering is also a call to voice. Silence served you in the refining season, but now your sound matters. Every testimony you share, every truth you release becomes a note in heaven's chorus. The more voices unite in purity, the stronger the symphony of glory becomes. It's not about volume, it's about vibration. Each word of faith released into the atmosphere shakes the hold of despair a little more. This is the hour to rebuild the altars of community. Isolation kept you safe for a time, but connection will make you strong. The fire that burns alone eventually fades. The fire that joins others becomes unquenchable. Reach out, reconcile, rebuild. Let your humility invite unity. The great gathering isn't only spiritual, it's practical. It's about restoring compassion to action. It's about feeding the hungry, comforting the weary, standing for truth even when truth costs something. Heaven's army doesn't just pray, it participates. Your hands, your voice, your generosity, they are instruments of divine expression. And if these words find you stirred, if your heart beats faster at the thought of connection, then this is your gentle invitation. Stay engaged. Like this message, if it ignites something within you, share it not for attention, but for alignment. When you pass light to another, you are helping heaven spread its network of awakening. Somewhere, someone is waiting for confirmation that they are not fighting alone, and your act of sharing might be the spark that reignites their courage. Comment your reflections below whatever sentence your spirit feels led to write. Sometimes, a few words can become a bridge for another soul. When you speak from authenticity, your story becomes a lantern for someone still walking through night. And if you feel moved to support this flow of words through prayer, through presence, through a small donation, know that your seed is sacred. It doesn't just sustain a message, it sustains a movement. Each contribution, however humble, becomes a stone in the foundation of this gathering. What we build together will outlast us, because it is not built on noise, but on necessity, on love, faith, and obedience. Subscribe if you haven't yet, not as a follower, but as a participant in what heaven is doing here. Stay close to the stream of revelation, because this connection is not accidental, it is orchestrated. You were never meant to stand alone on your mountain of faith. The time for solitary endurance is giving way to unified expansion. The great gathering has begun. Heaven is calling its scattered sparks into one fire. You are part of that blaze, an essential flame in the mosaic of light spreading across this generation. Let's rise together. Stand together. Burn together until the whole world sees what divine unity looks like. Every step of your journey has carried the weight of unseen purpose. Every tear, every silent night, every act of faith in the dark was recorded in heaven's archives. Nothing escaped divine notice. Now, as the atmosphere of acceleration and gathering continues to unfold, you enter a sacred moment, the season of heaven's reward. This is the hour when the sours begin to see sprouts, when prayers once whispered in exhaustion begin to echo with fulfillment. For a long time, it seemed as though your faith fell into empty space. You prayed, yet silence answered. You obeyed, yet outcomes delayed. But heaven was not ignoring you, it was investing in you. God hides answers in timing, not denial. And when his timing ripens, everything that once felt withheld begins to unfold in divine precision. The reward of this season is not random, it is relational. It comes not merely as blessing, but as recognition from heaven. You remained faithful when it was hardest to believe. The Spirit is now revealing how every battle was worth it. Each time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, you stored up treasure unseen. Every quiet act of obedience became currency in heaven's economy. Now, the accounts of faith are being opened, and release is being authorized. What you lost in one season will return in another, purified by purpose and multiplied by grace. We are reminded through the writings of Paul in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. The due season has arrived. It doesn't always come with thunder. Often it comes as peace. You wake up one day and realize the ache is gone. The burden has lifted. The impossible has quietly turned into your new reality. Heaven's reward rarely announces itself, it simply appears, as fruit naturally appears on a well-watered tree. But this reward is not only material. The true gift of endurance is transformation. God did not just change your circumstances, He changed you. The person who started this journey could not have carried what the person you are now can. Heaven's greatest reward is not the blessing in your hands, but the strength in your spirit. You have become trustworthy with favor because you learned faithfulness in fire. You may notice that small things suddenly feel significant again. Joy returns in simple moments. Gratitude flows without effort. This is restoration heaven, teaching your heart to live in abundance after seasons of scarcity. The reward of God is not merely increase, it's wholeness. You are being restored from the inside out. Yet even in reward, humility remains your crown. The chosen never forget the road that brought them here. You know what it means to pray when words fail, to believe when proof disappears. That memory will keep your heart soft while your influence expands. God gives reward not to inflate pride, but to amplify purpose. What He places in your hands now is meant to bless beyond you. Heaven's reward also carries a quiet justice. Every moment of misunderstanding, every false accusation, every betrayal that tried to define you, they are being reversed. God is vindicating you not through revenge, but through radiant restoration. The same mouths that doubted you will witness what faith built in secret, and you will not need to defend yourself. Your fruit will speak louder than your past pain. This is also a season of divine recompense. The years that felt wasted are being repaid in compressed blessing. Where you once reaped in tears, you will now gather in joy. But the measure of reward will not be material alone, it will be measured in peace. The kind of peace that cannot be explained, only experienced. The kind that makes you say, "It was worth it." Heaven's reward often arrives disguised as opportunity, a new door, a new connection, a new assignment. Do not hesitate when these appear. They are answers wearing earthly clothes. Step through them with reverence, not rush. You don't have to chase what's yours, it's being delivered. Still, remember, reward is not retirement. This is not the end of your story, but a holy pause before the next commission. The same God who rewards is the God who refines. Every blessing you now hold is both gift and trust. Handle it with gratitude, and it will multiply. Handle it with pride, and it will wither. The chosen understand that every harvest must be guarded. You've come too far to let distractions steal what obedience birthed. Protect your peace, cherish your rest, and remain anchored in the one who brought you this far. Every story heaven writes has a crescendo, a final note that gathers all the melodies of pain, perseverance, and promise into one powerful harmony. You have reached that place now. The moment where everything you have walked through begins to make sense. The shift of December 11 was never about a single event. It was the opening of a divine sequence that has led to this, the sound of the final trumpet. This is not the end of your journey, chosen one. It is the announcement of a new beginning. The final trumpet does not sound for endings, it sounds for awakenings. In Scripture, trumpets were used to summon armies, to proclaim victory, to announce divine visitation. Spiritually, the trumpet now echoes through your life as a declaration: the old has passed, and the new has come. You have survived the shaking, and now you stand ready to step into the radiance of fulfilled purpose. The sound of the trumpet is not external, it resonates within you. It is the vibration of obedience meeting destiny, the frequency of heaven aligning with the rhythm of your heartbeat. What once felt fragmented now feels whole. What once felt delayed now feels divine. This is the hour when clarity replaces confusion, and confidence replaces hesitation. As was written in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 52, "For the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed." Though this verse speaks of resurrection, it also mirrors what is happening in you now. Parts of your spirit that once lay dormant are being awakened. The faith that once flickered is burning steady. You are no longer surviving, you are transforming. You have been through every stage of divine refinement, the awakening that shook you, the separation that stripped you, the warfare that tested you, the rising that revealed you. Now comes the transformation that crowns you. The final trumpet announces your readiness. Heaven no longer needs to hide you, it is releasing you. The time of concealment has ended. In this moment, the spiritual landscape around you feels different because it is. You have crossed thresholds invisible to the world, but undeniable to your soul. Your discernment has sharpened, your authority has deepened. The same places that once drained you now yield to your peace. The same voices that once confused you now fade beneath the sound of purpose. The trumpet has silenced the noise of uncertainty. This final movement of the journey is about embodiment. God no longer wants you to talk about light. He wants you to be light. You are the message now walking prophecy. Living altar. Breathing evidence of redemption. Every scar has become a seal of authority. The pain that once haunted you has turned into holy power. The trumpet has not only called you forward, it has changed your sound forever. You may sense the weight of glory differently now. It doesn't shout, it settles. Peace has replaced striving. You no longer chase proof of calling, because your life itself is proof. You've learned that true strength doesn't roar, it radiates. You don't need to announce who you are. Heaven already has. The final trumpet also calls for remembrance. Remember the nights when faith was a whisper and hope a flicker. Remember the prayers you thought went unanswered but were actually rerouted. Remember the moments when you wanted to give up, and yet grace carried you one more step. These memories are sacred. They remind you that endurance was never in vain. Now you stand in the place of completion, not as someone who barely made it, but as someone transformed. The trumpet declares not only that you've overcome, but that you've become. The refining fire has shaped you into the vessel heaven intended all along. You carry not the scent of smoke, but the fragrance of perseverance. This new season will not be built on striving, but on stillness. The trumpet has signaled that the warfare of becoming is giving way to the work of being. You are moving from proving to embodying, from surviving to reigning. The silence after the trumpet is not emptiness, it is establishment. Heaven has sounded, and now the earth must respond. Let this sound echo within you as both closure and commission. The final trumpet marks the end of wandering and the start of walking in settled purpose. You no longer question if you were chosen. You no longer wonder if God still speaks. You hear. You no longer wait for permission. You move with divine authority. The trumpet has sounded over your life. Chosen one, step forward with the quiet confidence of one who knows they are seen, sealed, and sent. The shaking has ceased, the refining complete, the assignment clear, And somewhere, beyond time and language, heaven whispers its final benediction over you. Well done. Rise, shine, and reign. Chosen one. If your heart is still resonating after this journey, that's because heaven is not done speaking. The message has reached its final note, but the melody continues inside you. You have walked through awakening, refining, warfare, and reward, and now you stand radiant, crowned by understanding. What began as trembling revelation has become unshakable truth. You were chosen for this exact hour. Take a deep breath. Feel the stillness. This is not the end. It's a beginning written in gold. Every word you've received, every vision that stirred, every tear that fell, all of it has built the altar of your transformation. Heaven is smiling because you stayed through the storm. And now the light that once guided you is glowing from within you. If this message has stirred your spirit, if you felt seen, strengthened, or awakened somewhere in the reading, share it. Pass the flame. You never know whose night you might light with a single act of obedience. When you share, it's not about spreading a story. It's about spreading remembrance that God still speaks. That purpose still breathes. Like this message as an act of gratitude, not performance. Each gesture of engagement keeps the message alive, letting the sound of faith travel further than algorithms can measure. And if your heart feels led to speak, leave a comment below. It doesn't need to be long or perfect. Maybe just one sentence of truth that burns inside you. Your words might become the confirmation someone has been praying for. Subscribe if you wish to stay in the current of revelation. Stay connected, not to a page, but to a pulse, to a movement of light spreading through those who choose to listen. This space was never meant to be content. It was meant to be communion. So, as we close this divine chronicle, lift your head and remember, the shift was not only around you, it was within you. You are living proof that heaven still writes through human hearts. Keep shining. Keep walking. Keep believing. Heaven watches. Earth listens. And your story continues.